guys, today I received this package in the mail that contained this dual HD wireless IP camera. One of my viewers a month or so ago had sent me an email asking me if I would review a camera if he sent it to me, and I said sure. So this is what arrived. I haven't opened it yet, as you can see, but I'm looking at the directions. It says it's easy setup, Wi-Fi, Ethernet, it's high definition. It'll work with a computer and a smartphone. You can put an SD card in it, and it has night mode. And here's some of the other features here. It's got a two-dimensional QR code that you can scan to get the software. And well, let's just open this thing up and see what's in the box and see if this thing really is easy to set up. Now I'm going to play dumb here. I'm going to pretend that I've never set up an IP system before and I know absolutely nothing about this. So we're going to open this thing up, and in here we have the warranty card, a quality certified label. We have a book of directions. I hope they're not only in Chinese, or I'm going to really have a problem here. Let's open it up here and take a look. Oh, nope, it's in English too. We're in luck. And here is the camera. And a bracket to mount it on a wall, I'm assuming. Yes, it has a bracket. And that would screw into the bottom here. And we have the all-important wall wart, as they say. Let's see how easy this thing is to set up. This thing is branded a HUGEHARD, say that 5 times, IP camera. Looks like it's got pan and tilt, all built in. And it says that you basically scan a QR code and download the software. My cat is investigating. Can't do a video without the cat getting on camera. Okay, so anyway, it tells me to install an Android app or an iPhone app on my phone to set this thing up. The thing is, I don't have an Android phone and I don't have an iPhone. I have a Blackberry. I wonder if we're going to be able to set this thing up with a Blackberry. So I proceeded to scan the QR code, and it downloaded an APK file for me. So I just went ahead and I've installed the APK file on my phone. And it comes up and it says Netcam. So let's let's get rid of this cap first of all. And let's plug this thing in and see what it does. So I'm just going to connect the power cord on the back, and we're just going to listen to this thing and watch it and see what it does, because it's supposed to walk me through the installation of this with voice prompts.
Welcome to use. Please connect.
So it's asking me to connect. So I'm going to launch the app on my phone and see if the app actually runs. Now what this is supposed to do is it's supposed to generate some tones to tell the camera has a microphone in it. The phone is going to generate some tones that will give the camera my Wi-Fi name and password. Okay, so I'm going to click, while I'm waiting for the camera to reset itself, I've got the device page open. I'm going to click Add Device. I'm going to click one key to add. It's going to ask me to put in my Wi-Fi information and my password.
Welcome to use. Please connect.
And I've entered my information. I'm going to click Start Configuration.
Connection start. Connection successful.
There we go. I have now connected it. That was simple. And it identifies it. So here we have this Netcam software running on a Blackberry Z30. See, Blackberry got a bad rap. Everybody thought that they don't have apps, but to those in the know, the majority, 95% of Android apps run flawlessly under Blackberry 10. And this is another example of one that runs flawlessly. Okay, now I get back to my main page. I just think I have to select search device in LAN. I'm just looking at the directions here. Wi-Fi camera, here we go. I click on Wi-Fi camera and click done. I think, yeah, there we go. Connecting to Wi-Fi camera. And it took a few minutes, but there it is, online. If I click it, loading. And there's the picture from the camera. It not moving very quick. I know it's because my Wi-Fi is slow. I'm on quite a congested Wi-Fi system here. Now there appears to be something with this camera. I'm going to do some investigating to see why. I can bring up on my phone. This is another Android app that is running, and I can bring up my home security cameras that I have cameras all throughout my property here, and I can bring them up and display them no problem over the Wi-Fi connection on my phone, but the control of the camera is quite sluggish. Okay, look around my shop here. Do 360 degrees. So I've got the camera now displaying. If I can get my cat to come over here, as you can see, if I move my hand here, you can actually see it. It updates actually pretty quick. A lot faster than when I was cat, get out of the way. A lot faster when I was trying to connect over Wi-Fi. And again, I think it's because my Wi-Fi network here is pretty congested. So what I've got is I've got my phone now connected on the cellular band. And as you can see, I can pan the camera around, turn it to the left, I can turn it to the right. And again, I'm running this on a Blackberry. You know, I was blaming it on my Wi-Fi network, but my computer is working fine. And my tablet is working fine on my Wi-Fi network. But this camera just is not working that well. So then I thought for a minute, maybe it's because I'm running it on my Blackberry. I'm running the Android app on my Blackberry. So I've got my Android tablet, and we'll see how it's still kind of really laggy on this. See, the camera moved, but it hasn't really updated yet. Well, I can show you, it's not my internet connection that's slow, because here's my tablet, and I'm streaming live TV just off of the local PBS stations over my tablet here, and everything's working fine on this. So it's got to be this silly camera. It just is not working very well over Wi-Fi. Let's try a speed test. Where is it there? Launch. Speed test wants to run this way. Okay, so let's check our speed test out here. No problem with my internet connectivity. I mean, my system is fairly congested. I've got a couple kids on there. There's my upload speed. You know, 7 megs upload. So there shouldn't be any problem whatsoever bringing up this Netcam. But I'll bring up Netcam here. Click on the camera. And as you can see, it is really quite sluggish. The next test, what we'll do is I'll plug it in to the router directly, and we'll see whether that makes any difference at all. But over Wi-Fi, this thing is just horrible. Okay, now I've had a chance to play with the camera a bit. I've actually plugged it into my LAN because I find that my Wi-Fi signal here, there's a lot of interference in my area, and I find that the Wi-Fi signal may not be quite as robust as plugging into the LAN. I'm still going over Wi-Fi though with my tablet, so I've got the camera now just turned on, and I can swipe the screen and I can turn it around, and if I want to go up, right, I have full control over the camera. Move up, so I can turn this thing around. I've just got it in my living room here, and you can turn it around to see the entire room. One of my free TVs that I'm still trying to find a home for. You can also preset where you want the camera to go. For example, I've got 2 presets here. I'll show you how to do that, but if I want to call up a preset, I just click on the little flag down here at the bottom, and if I want to go to preset number 2, for example, I can just click on that, and the camera will go home where I preset it. If I want to preset it to something else, like for example, if I want to swing it around here, where are we here? I'm just going to go the other way here. I'm gonna set a preset in here to look at my vacuum tube amplifier, because you know, I just love looking at my tube amp. Right, so here we go. If I want a preset number, let's preset number 5 or something on this, I would just click on the little flag down here for presets, and I would select a preset a set, and for that matter, let's give this one number 16. Okay, so and then if I want to, I'll find something else on here to look at in the room. So if I want to look at say a shot like that, I want to preset as number 15. I just click on the little flag here. I click preset a set, you know, number 15. And if I want to, I'll just set a few other points in here. If I want to look down at the floor, I'll maybe make this one number 3. So if I preset that one, preset a set number 3. Okay, now I want to recall. If I want to go back to look at my amplifier, I can just, we're over here, I can just click on the flag, and I can, number 16, and it will go and turn itself around and go to that one. If I want to go back to number 1, I just click on the flag, I click number 1, and the camera will follow back. So you can set 16 different presets, which is actually kind of cool. So if you've got this camera set up, and I'm going to try a few other locations just to play around with this thing as I continue to make this video. But yeah, you can set this thing up and basically have any point of interest, and you can just recall it. You don't have to sit there and swipe through it. Once you've got your presets set up, you can recall. Like if I recall number 3, it'll go to that one. If I recall number 2, it'll go back to where I set it there. If I recall, I've only set a few of them, and if I recall number 15, we go up to that one, right? So that's it's kind of a cool feature, you know. If I want to, oops, we'll go back the other way. I'll take it all the way to the extreme, pointing out the front window, which we're not going to see a lot, but we'll see the loaner car that I've been given because my car is in for service. So if I click on here and I click preset a set, and I say make that number 14, say. Okay, so now if I recall, if I go back to number 2, you'll see the camera will go back to where I preset for number 2, and if I want to go back to number 14, I can just click on here and click 14, and the camera will return back to where I set it. It's pretty neat, right? It's pretty neat. It's for what it is. I mean, this is not a high end, it's not a real expensive camera, but it actually has a half decent picture, and setting it up was a snap. I went over it, and I didn't read the instruction book, but basically all you do, and I showed you this earlier, is you just take a shot of the barcode on the back of the camera, and it will automatically set itself up. But as far as simplicity goes, I didn't really need to look at anything other than the quick start guide, which actually made this unit one of the easier cameras that I've set up. And initially I wasn't really impressed with the system on Wi-Fi, at least. At my house, Wi-Fi wasn't the greatest, but it tends to be working okay now that I'm plugged into a LAN. I'm going to try it again on Wi-Fi, and I'll try it in a different location. Where I had it, it was out in my I had it out in my workshop, and out there, it's the Wi-Fi signal is not the strongest. So here's the camera. I've just got it sitting in my living room. As you can see, if I control it here with my phone, if I move it around here, I have full control over it. The lights are actually on it now, because even though it's still light out, the infrared lights are on the camera. But it hasn't switched into night mode yet. When it gets dark, the actual infrared cut filter will remove from the camera lens, and it will switch over to night shot. If I go in there and I turn off the lights, you'll see that the lights just went out on the camera. If I turn them on, the lights are on. So you can turn on and off the night vision from just by tapping on there. There's also a feature on this camera. If you tap this little icon here, this will turn on the microphone, so you can actually hear the microphone on the camera. So you're able to hear what's going on in the room. And if you want to talk to someone, you just tap the microphone key right here, and now you can talk to the person in the room. Right, so it's like a two-way radio. You want to talk to them, tap it, and now you're able to. So that's also a neat feature. If you're using the camera to monitor kids or something at home, like a nanny cam, for example, you're able to talk to whoever is back at the premise that you're monitoring. So it's a kind of a neat little unit. And just shut that off by just tapping the icon there, and that'll turn off the monitoring of the audio. Okay, what I've done now is I've relocated the camera. It is now running on Wi-Fi. And what I've done is I've connected my tablet to my other Wi-Fi system. It appears that when I had it connected to the same Wi-Fi access point that the camera was connected to, I was getting erratic pictures, probably due to bandwidth overloading of that particular access point, because there's a lot of devices connected to it. So I've connected this to my alternate access point in the house, at least my tablet. So my camera is connected basically to the main modem, and my tablet is connected to my extended range router. And everything appears to be pretty smooth here. This is my aquarium, as you can see, and I've preset a few presets on here so I can point the camera around just by clicking on the whoops, wrong button. Try that again. How about that one? That was the other one I was showing you, was where you can actually select the resolution, which I've got it set to high resolution. So if I press a preset, for example, the camera will turn and look around the room. So I can have multiple presets set here if I want to look, say, out to the front window. I think that was 10 that I programmed that on. And the camera will just turn around. And look out front. Like, for example, I know my cats are sleeping on the other side of the room, and I've just got that programmed into preset 7. So if I go over to preset 7, the camera will follow its pre-programmed path and swing right around and stop where it's preset. So that is kind of a really neat feature. I'm enjoying this camera the more I played with it here. Again, it wasn't that difficult to set up. The biggest problem I found with this camera when I first set it up was interference on the Wi-Fi. But I tend to have mitigated that a bit by just moving some of my equipment to other access points. That's the big problem with Wi-Fi on the 2.4 gigahertz band, is that there is so much saturation. There's not a lot of bandwidth. And if we were to look at the amount of, well, I'll just show you here. Let me just bring up my Wi-Fi analyzer and we'll just see how much traffic is on the Wi-Fi spectrum in my area here. So here's Wi-Fi analyzer. I'm just waiting for it to. Now you can see, right? You can see there's a whole bunch of signals that are around here. And some of these are mine and others are my neighbors and stuff. But as you can see, all the channels are pretty congested, and that just makes for a less than perfect Wi-Fi experience. The 5 gigahertz band has a lot less traffic than the 2.4, but unfortunately not every device supports 5 gigahertz, and that's the problem. When you get all of these, signals piling up on top of each other, you get co-channel interference from other devices in here. Like there's 3 signals here on the same channel. So, here's somebody else that's got their router. They've tried to move it off. Looks like they moved to channel 7 to try and eliminate some of the interference. So basically this one here, well, won't be causing interference to me because it's at minus 90 dB, but they would be causing interference to people on all the channels if they were strong enough. That's what's called adjacent channel interference. Although for the person who's got a lot of interference, sometimes going between the channels is the best way. It'll give them a connection, maybe not give them a perfect connection, but it'll give them at least a connection, whereas they may not get a connection otherwise. And as you can see, there's a lot of other noise here spiking in here in the background. One thing I did notice as I'm waiting for the PC software, it's searching for the camera still. It's been searching for a couple minutes and hasn't found it yet, but we'll see what happens. But what I did notice is that you can zoom in. So if you just pinch like you would on a regular phone, you can zoom in and zoom in on and observe your subject. In this case, I have a couple of sleeping cats. Should I talk to them and wake them up? Let's turn on the microphone. Kitty! I woke them up. And of course the camera has night vision on. So it is completely pitch black in that room now. I'm shooting this at night. As you can see, I can turn the light on and off. If I turn off the night vision by just pressing the light bulb here and clicking close, it kicks back into daytime mode. There's a little bit of light still coming in there. These are from lights outside, but you really don't see much. And if I turn on the night light, it'll turn on the lights, remove the infrared cut filter, and switch to nighttime mode. And if I hit my preset, now if it turns around to an area where there's lots of light, it'll probably switch back. Yeah, there, it's going to switch back because the camera is sensing that there's enough light to see, so it'll switch itself automatically back to color mode. And there we go, kicked into night vision mode there. But if I pan the camera up where it can see this light, it'll switch back because the light here, it sees that light, and that's enough to throw it off. So it'll switch back to daytime mode. Now it should switch back automatically. I've left it in night vision. There you go. See, it switches back automatically as soon as that light stops falling on the light sensor. It'll switch back and go into night mode as well. And I can zoom in here. I can see my fancy clock that's spelling out a message there. It says good evening. So now we're going to try and insert an SD card, because the camera has the ability to record locally as well as stream to your phone or your tablet. You can record stuff on the camera. So we're going to put the micro SD card in the back of the camera here. It slides in like this, just below the antenna, and then we'll go and we'll format the card using our app on our phone or tablet and try some recordings. Okay, back on on our tablet, and I could just as easily do this from my phone, but we're going to tap over here on the setup key, and it's going to give us options on here. And one of these options we'll see on here is called SD settings. So we'll click on SD settings, and here it says SD card format. So it says SD card formatting, please wait. So now the SD card is formatted. Now I can get back out of this by tapping my back key, and I can launch the camera. Now as soon as I launch the camera, it's going to revert back to the other orientation. So let's just flip the screen around here, and we'll tap the Wi-Fi camera icon, and it's going to bring up my picture. And of course I can move my camera around if I want to look at my front door, for example. I can turn it around here. I've done some changes to my settings as well on my router. I went into my router setup and I changed it to 802.11n only, performance mode. I turned off the B compatibility, and that has really improved the connectivity. I also changed it from the default 133 megabit to what they call the 20 megahertz spacing to 40 megahertz spacing. So I've doubled my bandwidth. That gives me a 300 megabit maximum throughput on the 2.4 gigahertz band, and that's also greatly improved the streaming capability of it. I was having some lag issues before, and by making some of those changes to my router, I've solved those problems. So if I want to record here, I can just tap on a little record icon at the bottom of the screen here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a little record icon here. If I tap that, it is now videoing, and it tells me that it's recording. So now if I swing my camera around, if I want to just, and I'll take this SD card out when I'm done here. Let's just move it around, show my front window. Right, pan the camera up just a bit. Right, we'll record some stuff here. I'll turn it around, maybe go back to my fish tank, which I think I had in preset number 3. So the camera will now swing around, and this should be recording on the SD card. That's what it should be doing. So there we go, the fish tank. And now I don't know whether I can control the zoom on the camera. I'm not so sure whether that zooms in on the SD card. So let's just try it. Let's just zoom in here and see whether the zoom actually takes place on the recording or not. As you can see, the steps that it makes for the actual movement are all predefined. If I want to reset back to my normal full screen, I can pinch down, but I can also just press this little button here that's the reset button, and that'll take me back to should take me back to the previous. Oh, I have to stop videoing, so I guess it is recording this zoom. I have to actually stop recording, but if I want to zoom back, I can zoom back this way. To stop the recording, I just press the button again here on the screen. Now it stops the recording. Now you see when I press this key here, it should go back to normal, which it did. So now that we've made this recording, I'm going to go retrieve that SD card, and we'll put it in the computer and see if I can play back that recording. Now, as you can see, I've now put the SD card into my computer, and you'll see all these files with the extension .264. A .264 is an H.264 raw file. It has no audio encoded, so it cannot be played back by your standard media players such as VLC or Windows Media Player. You actually have to have a special program to do it. A little bit of research on the internet came up with this program called OSMO4. OSMO4 as they call it. Let's just load it up. I've installed it, and it allows me to open up my screen here a bit so that we can click on File, Open File, and I've got my removable disk is already there, and if I click on the first file here, we'll see that here it is playing, and the camera should move. So this is the recording that I just made from the camera. Well, that didn't work as I planned. It doesn't appear that this OSMO4 will play these files which have the extension .264. So here's our files here, right? And it won't play them. However, there is a player that will play them. MPC HC, this one here. I open up this program and I click File and I open Quick File, and I have to go down to where it says, because it says media types and it doesn't recognize the extension. But if I just go down and select all files, okay, now I can click on the file and here's the playback from the camera. So we'll watch. We can see that the time is moving here. So there's no sound, obviously. My wife's working in the background there. You can see her moving stuff around. And here I hit the button to switch the camera around, and the camera now goes to the second location. So this is recorded on the media card, which is kind of cool. So you can have a media card in this camera and just leave it there. And if you're looking at it remotely and you want to make a hard copy of it, you can just hit the record button and it will record anything that's going on. I don't know if it'll do sound or not, and I should try that by opening the microphone, because you can turn the microphone on and off. I'm wondering whether it will record sound with the microphone active on it. I have a feeling that it won't. It won't record sound because it doesn't comply with the Wiretap Act. You're allowed to surveil video, but you're not allowed to record sound without people's knowledge. Just the fact that you can turn on the microphone on this camera to talk to somebody on it is kind of that in itself, it becomes more of an intercom, but you're actually not making a recording if you're using your phone or your tablet to talk to someone who's on the other end of it. Here, I'll swing it to the next location here, right? I'm just moving the camera around, as you saw when I was making the video before. So they probably get around that legal requirement to not record the sound. But I'm going to try it just for the heck of it. I'm going to try making another recording here, and we'll see whether it actually does record sound now that I've figured out how to play it back. As you can see, I'm going to swing it around to my fish tank. Now what I want to see is, I want to see when I zoomed in, when I was viewing this, whether it actually zooms in on the recording or not, or whether it only zooms in on the live monitor. Looks like it only zooms in, because I would have zoomed it at this point. I would have zoomed it in, and it's not zooming in on playback. So it looks like the recording is just the raw video from the camera sensor itself. When you zoom it in on your live view monitor, but it doesn't zoom in on the recording. Just confirmed that now. Now, I still haven't figured out how to control this from my computer. I've been able to control it no problem with my tablet and with my smartphone. As you can see, if I bring out my smartphone and I bring out the app for it, I can load up the Netcam app and turn it on, and I get the same thing. I can control the camera here. If I switch positions, for example, you'll see that it's going to show on both cameras. I got the microphone still turned on this one, so we'll turn it off. But as you can see, I can control it on both of them at the same time, which is kind of cool. I have still not been able to, and if I tap on here, and whoops, tap the right one here, tap where we go, let's move it over to the front window. As you can see, I can control it from either one. I can view it on multiple devices at the same time. I still have not been able to control the thing from my PC. I've tried a couple different pieces of software. I've tried ISPY and I've tried the device client, which is from their own website. Neither one of them will find the camera, and I'm still going to work on that. And hopefully before I publish the video, we'll have that part working. But everything else is working great. So I just got to get the PC portion, control of it working. And that's what I'm working on. Everything else has been really straightforward and real simple to set up. Anyway, that's this function. And we'll plug away at getting the PC portion working. Well, after spending much more time on trying to get the PC software to work, I haven't had any luck. And I'll make a follow-up video if I am able to get any of the PC software to recognize the camera. I'm on the same network. I've tried it both hardwired as well as over Wi-Fi, and it just won't see the camera. I've put the ID number of the camera in manually, and the software just won't seem to find it. I don't know, maybe it's a antivirus program on my computer or something that's preventing it from finding the files, or finding the source, the streaming source. But it does work on an Android device, on a Blackberry device, running the Android software. Just one last time here. This is the SD card. When you put the SD card in, click on Open Files. What I've done is I've now associated the file, so I don't have to bring up the program anymore. I can just click on it, and it'll automatically load the file. So there's a clip that I did, and it'll automatically load the file and play it. So you just need to associate the program. This file was MPC-HC, and it seems to be a pretty stable media player. I've tried it with all different types of files. I've tried it with MP4 files, the 264 files. Tends to be a very stable player, and I've had no issues whatsoever with this player. So I would highly recommend, if you're going to be playing files from a DVR system, to use this player. It's the best one. I've tried a bunch of them today, and this is the one that is actually stable. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at the camera. This video has probably gone on far too long. I'm going to probably do another one here, and if that person doesn't stop pinging me when I'm making a video, I'm going to reach through the phone and smack them up the side of the head. You know, I tell people I'm recording, don't send me a message, and they don't get it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this quick look at this Netcam 360, at least as far as being able to record and control it through the Android operating system, and I'm sure iOS works just as well, but Android and Blackberry, 2 thumbs up. It works great. I'm able to record with an SD card, and it really records good quality pictures. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if I ever do get, I'm going to continue to work on this to try and get the PC software working, and if I do get the PC software working, I'll make another follow-up for this video. Thanks for watching.